Guys, welcome back to Let's Play Chrono Cross. Last time we explored our peaceful village. This time, with one person left to talk to, let's get into the tutorial. How would you like to join my lecture? The fundamentals of attack and the art of elements. Now, I'm not a big fan of tutorials, but what this does is this gives me the ability to not end battles super quickly, so I can demonstrate a lot of the things that they're trying to explain to us. And so hopefully I'll be able to get it across between what they provide us in-game and the bits and pieces that I can add on. Now, basically, the way it works is you each have, all of your characters are going to basically work out the same way. You're going to have 3 sets of attacks: a weak attack, a strong attack, and a fierce attack. The accuracy is noted to the right of the number there, and the way it kind of works is they get subsequently more powerful the more you go up, and that outstretches, say, like a weak attack here is a weak attack. A strong attack is the equivalent of about 3 weak attacks, and a fierce attack, number 3, is the equivalent of about 7 weak attacks. That being said, if you don't hit, you don't gain any element power. We'll just do the last attack there, whatever. So yeah, we're going to do some basics on attack. So we have the weak, the strong, the fierce. Each have different accuracies or hit values, and every time you hit your opponent, each of these values will increase, making it easier for your subsequent attacks to hit. So it often makes sense to start with a weaker attack and then move your way up to stronger attacks after. And he gives us the basis of that right there. So if you just go up and use your fierce attacks all the time, you end up missing a lot of the time. As you can see, even the NPC, or well, the tutorial guy, he misses as well. Everyone misses in this game. The accuracy is the biggest troll in this game, except for trying to open doors and find items that are hidden, because for some reason the X button does not like to work a lot of the time. Not even close. Yeah, he talks about different things. I'm kind of only half listening. And that's, as long as it's not 100%, and it never gets to 100%, it only gets to 99. And at 99, you can still miss, and it happens, and it's dumb when it does happen. But it does happen. Sometimes it makes sense to take a risk, indeed. And the reason for that, as I said, is because you just deal so much more damage with those attacks. You also have a higher chance of criticals using a fierce attack. Sure, we'll go for it. Yeah, so you miss, and you miss again. And then you just poke them. Alright, so now we're going to take a look at elements. So yeah, each successful attack that you land on the enemy, misses don't count, will raise the amount of element power that you have. And what are you going to talk about? You're going to talk about the effectiveness of colors. So the idea here is the field effect up on the top left is going to contain various colors of elements. He wants it to set up to blue at the moment. So what he wants us to do is cast an element that is blue elemental. In this case, Cure. It's the only one they've given us so far, so we might as well just use it. And what we'll do is we'll continue to build up the field effect. So yeah, in order to use an element, you just need to select it from the menu, but in order to use an element, you need to have enough element power. First, you need to attack and do some physical damage to your opponents. That will build up your element power. Your element power is indicated by the level 0 that's indicated right below Surge's name on the menu there. As he's about to tell you, you don't accumulate any element power and can't actually cast any elements or any magic spells unless you first use physical attacks to build up that element power. So it's an interesting take on things, not allowing you to just spam spells whenever you want. Yeah, so we're going to use some elements. You're going to keep repeating yourself on stuff. The gray-colored rectangle plates appear on the screen. Yeah. It's not the best way of explaining it, but yeah, that's kind of how it works. Yes, I already used the only blue element I have. Yeah, once you use an element, you can only use it once per battle. There is one exception, and that, like, off the top of my head, there's only one exception, and that is consumable elements. So the tablet that we got in the previous episode that I said was consumable item, it's a consumable element. The only items in this game are key items. So that consumable element can be used in battle as a consumable, and it can also be used outside of battle as a consumable. Okay, so we're gonna have to do more strategy. Yeah, so the element with the indication there, tablet, if it has a number, an X number in a little plate there in front of it, then it's a consumable element. And they don't recharge at the end of battle like all other elements do, so that cure that I used, I can't use it for the rest of this battle. But once I finish this battle and start up another battle, I'll be able to use it again. The consumables, once you use them, they're gone. That's the name consumable. Yeah, they allow you to put 5 of them in one spot on the grid, and I'll go into the grid a little bit later when we actually need to. Consumable elements, yeah, they have 5, giving you more that you can hold in a single spot on the grid, and it can be useful early on. Later on, we won't be using consumables, not in battle anyway. Okay, so we're gonna... Are you still talking? Okay, so whenever you use an element, so if you use an element that's at, say, level 2, and you only have 2 points or 2 level 2 element power, you use that element at level 2, your elemental grid will drop down to 0, and you'll have to attack to build that back up again. If it was only a level 1 element, then you would only lose 1 point. So you would have a level element power of 1 after using that element. So yeah, it's basis of the words are hard. Subtraction, as he says. Easy for me to say. And so yeah, you can use elements anytime so long as your stamina value is above 1. The stamina is the STA value of 7 that is indicated below Surge's HP. And it's identified by that aquamarine colored bar there. It will go down as we use our attacks and elements. Alright, can you shut up, please? You're talking way too much. So yeah, you can either, just chip away and get, single element off right away if you want to do it, or you can just build up all your element power and then do whatever you want with it after that. There are lots of strategies going forward with this game that I do want to get into, but this guy talks way too much. So he's going to use another element here. This one specifically has a purpose. It turns the entire field blue. So now what happens with a blue elemental field is elements that you cast will deal additional damage because of the field, what is known as the field effect. So let's build up some more element power here. Is that a 99% miss already? I'm in the tutorial battle, come on. So yeah, any blue elements you use will do additional damage. So he's going to demonstrate us with an element here. Ow! Conversely, when there's a lot of blue in the field effect, the elements of the opposite color, red, will be weakened. Now, there is a specific set of parameters to all this that I will get into in a little bit. I'm not going to bog down this one battle with 7,000 pieces of information, but I do want to at least kind of get the gist of it set up so you understand the basic idea of how the combat works. So now, yeah, we're kind of half dead here. Let's use one of these tablets, which is a consumable, to heal ourselves back up. Time to bring this lesson to an end. Here you go. And he one-shots you. Again. He gets to do it twice. Still so young. Anyway, he gives us, I believe, a free heal after that, yeah. So, the way that it works is we open up our menu, we can equip some items. Let's equip some items and show off kind of how the basic stats work. And the way that they lay out the stats is somewhat confusing here. I don't know why they have the same values multiple times there. It's more confusing than it needs to be. So let's go into the status menu to take a good long look at our stats here. HP is exactly what you think it does. Strength is exactly what you think it does. It's your physical attack power. ACC is your accuracy. In this case, it's 85. Magic is the strength of your magical attack. Res is the physical defense against physical type attacks. Agility in this game only affects your evade. It actually, there is no speed per se. The way that turns are generated is in terms of kind of a hidden value called AP, or at least that's what a number of speedrunners have referred to it as, kind of the starting AP values of enemies. And that refers to the amount of stamina you need to consume until they get their turn. And so the enemies usually have a set value, or maybe it's a random value. I don't know, it's hidden. So basically, the more stamina that you consume by doing physical attacks or casting elements, the greater the chances the enemy is going to get their turn. Magic Rest is your magical defense against magic type attacks. Stamina Recovery is an interesting stat because when you do an attack, say you don't have max, say Surge has no more stamina left, so he can't act, and Poshal's going to get a turn. Every time Poshal takes an action, the stamina recovery stat determines how much stamina they regain during a secondary character or another character's turn. 10 is the ideal number. That's a 1-for-1 transition. 9, unfortunately, is not, so you will not fully gain back a full stamina point when, like, say, I'm going to get into a battle. It'll be easier to show it that way. Anyway, let's take a look at our elements here before we jump right into combat, but still a little bit of slowdown at that one spot. Kind of weird. Alright. So, we were told to head down to Lizard Rock. So, of course, the first thing we're going to do is take a look at all the other places that we can go to. Let's go here first. The Poor Army is currently investigating this area. It's off limits to the public. Well, I guess we can't do anything there. So we're gone. Not a whole lot we can do there. Even though there's no indication that there's anything here, if you walk up to the waterfall, it's an RPG. Of course there's something in the waterfall. Now, I talked about in the previous episode how awesome the background art in this game is. This is pretty cool. This is fucking awesome. The walls look alive. This area, it looks absolutely fantastic. Everything just looks like it's alive, like the planet is sentient or something. Absolutely phenomenal. Oddly enough, there's no music that plays here, though. I wonder what this place is called, anyway. Well, once you've entered the secret area once, it is the Divine Dragon Falls. Now, someone in town said to stay away from the Hydra Marshes, something about dwarves and Hydra. Didn't the village elders tell you not to come here? Yeah, they kind of did, but it's an RPG, I gotta explore. Hey. Along with the dwarves, you'll find other monsters in the forest. Can't let you wander off by yourself. Oh yeah, I've got the pooch with me. I don't know why the dog can talk. Don't ask me. Didn't even notice you. Won't be of much help, so I suggest you guys head back to the village. I'm not going to repeat that. But yeah, you are actually prevented from coming in here at this point in the game. They won't let you. So we can't do anything there. That's 3 areas down, and we got nothing for our troubles. Cape Howl, on the other hand, does allow us to pick up a couple of things. A couple of treasure chests containing a heal element, and a battle to start demonstrating things. Wow, that is weird, slow weirdness. Alright, so our stamina is listed below. So every time you use an attack, the number 1 uses 1 point of stamina, 2 uses 2, 3 uses 3, an element will consume 7 full points of stamina. Now, take a look at this. We're going to lose 1, so we dropped 1 point. Now, if Poshul was to get a turn and do that same action, Surge, with a stamina recovery of 10, gets a full point of stamina regained there. However, if Surge is to do it and Poshul only had a stamina recovery of 9, we only get 6.9, and you need to get a full, that full next number in order to get another turn. So we only have 6 more turns to use with both Poshul and Surge at this point. So 2 is going to use up 2 points of stamina, and 3 will use up 3 points of stamina. Now, when using an element, first I'm going to attack once here to demonstrate something. Now, when... by the way, you can press the left and right button to switch characters at any time. As long as they have available stamina, you can switch to whoever you want. Now, I'm going to select to use a spell. Now, using an element will consume 7 points of stamina. However, it only offers 1 point into the recharge. Actually, you know what? I'll have Poshul attack one more time to confirm this for you. Please hit. Okay, so Surge is going to use a spell here. And we're only going to get 1 point of stamina for Poshul, but we're going to be -3 for Surge. Or, well, 0.9. Same difference. But yeah, that's how basic stamina recovery. Enemies, as I said, they have a starting AP, allowing you to perform a certain number of actions, basically, which leads to a certain number of stamina points consumed, and then they're going to get their turn. And this will continue throughout the entirety of the fight. Now, by default, when you set up the game, it's set so that as you select an attack, it'll automatically boost you up to the next one. I believe there is an option to turn that off, though I never do. Now, Poshul, I have neglected to give elements to. As you can see, we're not gaining a whole lot back at this point. So what will happen when I run out here, when... Actually, I'll never run out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to defend, and then I'm going to defend again. And as you can see, we got a big boost there. What that did is it cleared however much AP was remaining until the enemy was going to get their turn. And if I wanted to, I could defend again to sync everybody back up to 7. Downside to that is you give the enemy more opportunities to attack that way. In this case, it doesn't really matter because the enemies are weak, but it is the start of the game, so that's to be expected. Alright, now after battle, you can get power-ups as it indicates there. Oftentimes you'll gain a little bit of HP, but that won't continue forever. You'll only gain a little bit here and there, not a lot. Usually you'll get a little bit here and there after boss fights. If you have any remaining elemental power left when you finish the fight, you can use any healing items currently in your grid to heal yourself so you don't have to go and do other things outside of battle. So you can select maximum healing without using consumables, which won't use any of the tablets, and it'll only use however many healing elements you have not already used that you had set up in your grid. So if I select this, it'll use nothing because I already used the cure spell. You can select it to use consumables in your stock too, or you can choose to not heal the party. So this won't use the cure element that I have because I already used it in that battle, but I did want to at least show that off. So elements here, you select elements and you can go use, which will allow you to use the elements that you have and either cure poison or heal HP. If you allocate those elements, you can set up more elements on your grid so that you can, deal some nice damage. So I'm going to put Fireball on there and Aqua Beam on here. And what else am I going to put on? And we'll put the Cure one over there. Hitting R1 will move over to the next character. And here we're going to put Uplift over there. And we'll put Aqua Beam here. And we'll put Cure down at level 1. Now, the way that levels work is each subsequent level up, like each element here, take a look over on the bottom right there. Each element has an associated level and then a plus minus value, meaning that the level is its base level and the plus minus value is how further up or down the grid it can be placed. So in the case of an uplift element, it's a level 1 element. It can be pushed plus or minus 7 positions from where its default value is. So in this case, it's plus 2. As it goes up, obviously you'll get a little more effectiveness from this. This doesn't actually work with everything, but pretty much anything damaging, the higher up it is, the more damage it will do. I tried to find a value for it, but I couldn't. I don't know if that value actually exists or if anyone knows what it is. If so, let me know so that I know. But we put some elements on there. Let us grab this other treasure chest here. A bone. Now, a number of the items that we get, like if you go to items here, it's only going to show you your key items in here. Controls the flow of time. I know. But yeah, it's there. If you want to take a look at your items, you need to go into accessories and then take a look at the different items that you get here. Now, they give us trash loot that we need to use to forge new weapons in this game. It's not my favorite way of going about things. I don't like gathering materials to forge weapons. I'd rather just buy the damn weapon and move on. But what can you do? Now let's go up here and we will fight one more of these guys. Most enemies in the game you can run away from if you want to, and what will happen if you run away is you will get a chance to heal. They give you an achievement for running away. Video game? Why? And we can't heal ourselves now. But if I had attacked a couple of times, built up some element power, then I could have run away, used this ability to heal, and then been able to move around on the field, open my menu, do whatever I need to do, and then approach the same enemy again. Oddly enough, this can even be used on a good chunk of bosses in the game. I think the game designers actually intended for you to use this ability to go into a boss fight, figure out what the enemy was weak to, go out, re-equip elements, because elements are extremely easy to come by in this game. And re-outfit yourself for that specific boss fight. So let's just attack the enemy here. Early on, what I like doing is doing a 1 attack, 2 attack, and a 3 attack, and then I like to unleash an element at this point. Now, the way elements work is you see the character, or the enemies there, have HP values, which are question marks, and then they have an innate value. Innate values in this game are basically like Pokemon games. So we have red and blue opposing. Actually, it's more like Final Fantasy X now that I think about it, because it's not a rock paper scissors thing. It's literally these two, red and blue, deal more damage against each other. So using a red element against a blue innate enemy will do more damage. Using a blue one will do less damage. Using any other color will be just regular damage. So we're going to use Fireball here since it'll do more damage. And you can see how far out Surge is on his stamina right now. So he's not going to get another turn for quite a while. So the idea here is to hopefully finish the fight with Poshul so that Surge isn't going to be needed. And that's exactly what we do. And as you can see, I tried to use the max healing after battle without using consumables. Because I did not use my cure elements in this fight, they're now available to heal me after the fight. And now I'm at full HP and I don't have to worry about doing anything outside of battle in order to heal. It's a really nice feature that streamlines things quite a bit, and I really do appreciate that. Alright, let's go up here. What do we have? Surge. And Leena. Forever. Oh, and that's sweet. Now, I'm not sure if he's actually writing it at that point, or if he's reading what he wrote previously, but it doesn't really matter. Alright, now, a lot of the times, enemies will respawn once you leave an area. By the way, if you stand on one of those when it shoots up steam, it will damage you. Not by a lot, but it does damage you. Alright, with that being said, we can now go to Lizard Rock. Now, if you remember last time, there was a message from an old man. He had 3 hints for us, and now we realize that we need to chase down some of these Komodo dragons. One of them was rock and roll. Since he decides to run in there, that's kind of our indication of, a little tiny puzzle to start off the game. Nothing major or anything like that. These guys are Komodo pups. They're a very basic enemy. There's not a whole lot to them. A lot of the enemies early in the game, excuse you, video game, don't have a whole lot to them. Yeah, the hit rate in this game is atrocious. Remember, as I said, you lose all of your accumulated additional hit percentages from being attacked. Even if the enemy misses attacking you, as long as it targets you, you end up losing out on all the boosted... Wow, that is terrible. All the boosted hit percentage that you've gained from attacking up until then. Of course you had to miss. Alright, so they're blue, so I'm going to use this one here. We'll target the weak one, even though that's probably not the smartest move, but Surge is going to get his turn. And he has a red element, which will do more damage. There's no MP in this game, so you don't lose anything for casting an element. But the reason why I put Fireball at level 2, and I put Cure at level 1, is once I've built up all 3 points, and I only use a level 2, cast the Fireball spell, which should one-shot these guys from what I recall. Yes. Then I still have that 1 point left, which will allow me to heal after battle. Now, Cure is only single targeting, so I can only use it once because Poshul didn't have any remaining stamina, or any element power. And we got a Komodo Scale for that. Just bump into that guy. Yeah, early on, a lot of the fights are pretty basic. There's not a whole lot to them. And one of the biggest issues that I've always had with this game is how long it takes to do battles. Battles are just really, really long in this game. This was the late 2000 or the late 1990s, early 2000s. It's the same time that Final Fantasy IX came out, and Final Fantasy IX had this issue as well, where they just did these really long attack animations that took forever, and it was showing off, but at the same time it made everything just kind of drag, and that's what Chrono Cross is. The combat takes a long time to do, so I'll be cutting out a whole bunch of battles. See, the enemies around here are blue elemental, so we got that new element, so I'm going to go over and I'm going to put that on Poshal's grid at that level there, and I'm actually going to put the Aqua Beam there instead of the Uplift. Let's do some more exploring here. Okay, we finished off that battle, and that guy ran away real fast. Wonder how I'm going to figure that out. Okay, finished off that enemy, and you can slide this stone here, and eventually it will fall into the water. Somehow that dislodges this chest, and if we wait long enough, it will float to the surface. Now, speaking of waiting, if you press the L2 button, it will put everything in slow motion. Now, in the original version, you had to hold the button. Now it's a toggle, so press it and turn it off. If you hold the R2 button, in this case, it's again a toggle, you just press it, it activates the fast forward feature, which makes my life a little bit easier. Okay, so yeah, I finally went over that. I know I said I'd talk about it a while ago, but I'll use this battle as an opportunity to show off another thing that I did want to talk about, and that being that enemies in this game actually have gender. You'll notice there, next to innate blue, over on the left, there is a signal for male, and there's female, and there's another male. Enemies all, I guess throughout the whole game, have different genders. And the only thing this affects, to my understanding, is the total value of HP that they have. Apparently, from what I've read, the amount of HP listed on most walkthroughs is, including the official walkthrough, which I do have, is apparently kind of like a middle ground between the two. I think the difference is like 5 or 10%. So it's not like it's a massive difference or anything like that, but it is definitely there. There is gender with the enemies, and it does affect the amount of HP that they have, so that is indeed a thing. Alright, hopefully that's enough. So yeah, like I said, if you want to, you can press the button there, give you a little bit of fast forward, make the fights go a little bit faster. And just finished it. There we go. Now, the fast forward feature doesn't work everywhere, but it does work in a bunch of places. Now, as you can see, this is what people often refer to this as a mini star level up or a mini level up. And this will happen occasionally. I'll go into it in a little more detail later, just because there's a lot to get into and I don't want to bog you down too much. Now, press the A button to jump. You gonna move there, buddy? I was out of position. I pressed the button and nothing happened. This is an extremely tight time because there's massive delay when you go to do it. In my test run, I did it like 6 times before I got it to work. I was getting really frustrated. Please kill the thing. Almost. Alright. Now, there is one other thing to go into that I kind of started talking about but never finished. Innate elements. So you see these enemies are blue, blue and red, oppose each other. Well, that's not all, because there are yellow and green, which oppose each other, and there are also white and black that oppose each other. Each of those two pairs oppose each other, and that encompasses all of the elements in the game except for one. And that's a very niche case later on that doesn't really affect anything except storyline things. You'll see when we get there. So anyway, we got a second Komodo Scale. Nothing else we can do down below there. Explored everything, so let's go on up here. Now, there's a massive amount of information that I could get into with regards to how the combat works, different notes about elements and the field effect. The field effect, basically I'll give you the bare bones of it right now. You'll notice over there that Surge has an innate color of white, and that Poshul has an innate color of yellow. Elemental damage with regards to the field effect is determined by a number of things. Your own innate element gives you more powerful with that color of element when attacking. And if that color appears in that little circle of the field effect, anytime it appears there, it gives you a little bit more damage. I have a whole formula that I'll go into, but I don't feel the need to go over it right now. That seems like it would take too long. Okay, finished off that one. We get a tablet. We can't walk up those, so we're gonna have to go back on up here. And we can't go up that. There's a Komodo up there, so we should probably head around. Now, I'm not gonna capture this guy this time, but the last hint that the guy gave us, I think the first one was rock and roll. Another one was some of them are too fast. Get the jump on them or something like that. Yeah, there's a guy that comes out of nowhere. And there's another helmet. Let's equip some of that stuff that we've been picking up here. The silver loop is like an eyepiece. Gives you a little bit more hit percentage. You'll notice there in I don't know, what is that, brown, orange? The number goes up there. It doesn't go up by a substantial amount. We're going to equip the ivory helmet on you, and then I think I will give the silver loop to Surge, since he needs the accuracy, because he does... actually, I'm not even sure if he does more physical damage. They do about the same physical damage, but Surge is the much better mage. So we're going to have to fight this guy on the way out, aren't we? Okay, finished off that one, and that is the last of the items in here, except for the final Komodo, which our goal is to just chase him down. Yeah, one was get the drop on him, one's rock and roll, the other one, he just wants to play tag, so I'm just going to have to run around and catch him. I'm not going to do it right now because it jumps into another sequence of events that I don't really have the time to go into at this point. But I think we got a pretty good jump start on things, and next time we will collect the third and final of the Komodo Scales for Leena and try and meet her on the beach at Opasa Beach there. Anyway, that's all for this one, and I'll see you guys next time.